Well, hello everyone. I hope the apocalypse and everything else is treating you well. Um, this is just my, tournament report and impressions on our launch day tournament in Athlone for Kill Team. I kind of pushed hard to lay hands on the terrain early, got it painted. So the setup we had for this was one Hivestorm table and 3 Gallowdark tables. And we also had an Octarius table set up that ended up being used for casual play. To give a breakdown of the teams, we had 2 Angels of Death, 2 Vet Guard, 2 Orcs, 1 Legionary, and 1 Brood Brothers. So not exactly the greatest variety, but still a good mix. We haven't had a kill team tournament in Athlone before. We had kind of varying levels of experience. So we had some people who played the old edition, some people who hadn't. And we also then had a number of people come play casual games as the day wound on. So the overall results, we actually had Orcs with 3 wins, followed up by Space Marines, Angels of Death, Black Templar, and a Legionary team. I suppose the one thing I noticed is the Space Marine teams were very, very tough on everyone to play against. The extra wounds, really tough. The Angels of Death team that came second drew against Legionaries, and that's actually what put them in second place. The Orc team that won didn't face a Space Marine team. And the experience that the Space Marine players had was a little different to everyone else. We had one person who was just starting out, had never played Kill Team before, hadn't met anyone before, and just took an Angels of Death team and destroyed in their first match. Absolutely destroyed the opposing team in their first match, just through Space Marines shrugging off everything. But yeah, the Orcs still very strong, from our playing of it anyway. But I suppose we're not exactly the greatest, most competitive men in the world. What was much more interesting was the impression. I had beginning players get through games in 2 hours with this edition. The first turn really being positioning and chip damage, as somebody described it, really changes the dynamic. The equipment rules are simple and straightforward. There's no more 5 minutes of adding up and trying to do that, trying to figure out, am I adjusting my equipment loadout? There's no messing around with deployment because everyone's deployed on conceal. The scouting step seems important, but less important in terms of the equipment is probably feels like the strongest, and then the reposition and probably the middle, and then deploy feels like, okay, you're maybe saving the CP, or maybe you wouldn't have used that ploy anyway, But yeah, it felt like a lot of things were streamlined. The equipment really good. The app does help. It has some eccentricities and problems, and you might be better off just printing off the PDFs, but the PDFs are there to be printed off. You don't have to worry about third-party sites. So I think the edition itself feels solid. Everyone seemed to have fun who was on the Hivestorm board. And we then had 1 or 2 casual games go on. So we had somebody who just used a Black Templar Angels of Death against some Space Clowns, Harlequins, and they had a brilliant time, So I think Gallo Dark probably helped as well, because there was less line of sight issues for people to worry about on a lot of the boards, so the questions were fairly straightforward. And then you also had like the games were very lethal, very lethal. The Brood Brothers player had the Patriarch. He said it wasn't an efficient choice, but it was definitely fun. So yeah, the new edition so far seems like helpful changes, both for new players and for speeding up the game. Yeah, so hopefully we'll do another Kill Team tournament again soon. Alright, thanks for listening. Have a lovely day.